Welcome to the second episode, we'll call it.
Okay, it's CherryLee podcast.
CherryLee podcast. That's what we're going to call it.
It's a long talk.
Yeah. Just talk about whatever.
Okay. The topics today, this episode, we will review the Chinese New Year ritual of our family.
Yep.
Yeah, what you and me have learned
Yeah.
from it.
Now, it's good thing she checked her microphone, make sure it was on. That was good.
Mhm.
So, what did
we do?
we do?
Okay, because it's
Yeah, we'll start with
just
that.
few days ago.
Yeah. So we started with we started decorating our tables and then put the gold, silver, and red on the tables, and we had a smaller version of it, and we did our outside and we did our inside, which I didn't know, and one is for the gods and one is for the fam.
Okay. We set up the food that on the table to pay the respect for the god, like Chinese god, the spiritual god that protect the house, and also set up the table to pay the respect for our ancestor who passed away already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
this is a first for me. So
first for me,
yes, the first
Two.
for us.
because you can see my face that you can know right away that I have mixed Thai and Chinese.
And you can see my face and realize I am neither.
And the audience might not believe that it's my first time to do this, but for the word first time that I gonna mention, it's about first time for me to prepare and set up by myself and study what I should put on the table and what's
Right, you
the
had to
meaning.
Study
of
by
it.
phoning her dad and finding out. Yes.
And also like research by
yeah,
myself.
Exactly. Research. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I look at it differently from the time when I was young,
Mhm.
that I was a child in the family and just wait for adult to prepare everything and I just come and why and pray.
Right.
Yeah, it's different.
And from what I remember, like the only other experience I actually ever had was with, we'll call her my girlfriend, but she was like my best friend growing up, Lynn. And she was Chinese and her father was Chinese. And we had like, when we worked there, it's just like you celebrate it, right? So it was more
Mhm.
family for me,
Mhm.
but there wasn't much in regards to, it was very colorful, but like in regards to tradition and stuff that I don't recall that off the top of my head. Maybe it was there, I just didn't see it.
Mhm.
But it was a small shop anyways, right? So
Yeah. And it's more about family reunion,
yeah,
something like that, right?
right.
But what we did, it's the part that we pay the respect for our ancestor, and
Hmm.
they were the family member that we thinking of them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's more about that.
Yeah, it was almost a way to like what's to reflect
Mm.
on your family members. You might not know them well, but you still have some memories. And like for me, my stepmother recently passed away, and it made me think back a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like a way to think back and remind yourself of them, right? Like, sort of like you have like the anniversary of someone's death, and you think about them that day.
Mm.
But this was different, it's a little bit more. It felt more intimate, like yeah, it felt a little bit more intimate for me at least, not just for Sharon. Like I was thinking about your family and
Yeah.
your auntie and that stuff
Yeah.
of that. So yeah,
And our house is quite modern. I have no altar to put the Buddha image or
right.
anything different from Thai family, like other Thai family that they have the shelf to
Right.
put the Buddha image and
We
the
did have one
picture.
here, right up there originally, but it was very, very small.
So I adapt the TV
Which
to
was
put the presentation on
right.
and put the picture of my grandparents, my auntie, Sharon,
Right.
and also my friends who passed away,
Yeah,
that
Pat.
we thinking of them,
Right.
and we set the table to remind us about them.
The one guy I would have liked to have met was Pat, personally.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he seemed like I'd be friends with him. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And he is one of our best friend
right.
for seven
Carrots, yeah,
carat group. Okay,
right.
so for me, why I start
Yeah,
why
what?
I start this, because you with me this year is year 3,
Right.
but I didn't care or didn't mention or
No,
didn't do it the year
you just
before.
decided. You just decided you want to do it.
Yeah,
Yes,
look at this guy.
that's me yawning at not even 5 p.m. Yes, uh, but it could be late night wherever you are in the world.
Okay, so I just it just come up that I want to reconnect
Right.
to my to my ancestor,
Mhm.
grandparents. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, and that's fine. Right. That's absolutely fine.
it's emotional a little bit.
Yeah, but we're not making it about emotion. We're making it about Chinese New Year. So how about that hairdo? Where'd that hairdo come in?
Yeah, I never tried this color.
She does not. You know what's funny? Red. I associate red with being a clown, and she does not look like a clown at all. She looks very nice in the hair.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
Okay.
oh, here come the fireworks. Just kidding. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it was a good way, and it's good to like in general because like I was never big on celebrating Christmas and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of celebrated New Year's
Mm-hmm.
once or twice, but like I don't think of it as much of a thing. But now we get three. That's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yo.
Three. We get New Year's, we get Chinese New Year's, and we get Songkran, which is Thai
The
New Year's.
coming up Thai New Year's in
And we should find out
April.
when the Irish and English New Year's are.
Oh, wow.
No, I think they're all New Year's.
Okay. And um I give the definition that I am Thai
Right.
because of the lifestyle that I grow up.
It's Thai.
I live like Thai general family. And my dad used the word mom for me to call them, my parents,
Right.
to be Thai word, because some Chinese family will use Chinese word
Right.
to call dad mom, grandpa, grandma, like
Okay.
agong, ama, ma, pa. That's Chinese word, right?
Right. Okay.
But for us, we use Thai word, and we live like a Thai general family. And I just come up with the idea, right? Oh, my grandpa, he's come from China.
Right.
He's immigrate to Thailand
Right.
and restart his life here.
Yeah, but you knew you had Chinese roots, anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to know it.
Right. And it's a good way to think about it. It's like it's different, but it's like it brings you back, right? It's like me knowing that I have some Irish. Well, I don't have some. I am Irish and English and Canadian.
Your dad, he's Irish.
He's Irish, but then on my mother's side, they're Scottish, right? And so for, and then the laughing name, we don't know where it comes from. However, I have heard rumors that it's French and all this other garbage, we'll call it, but it's not. I don't know what it is. And I'm not named after a king. I'm named after Lee Kuan Yew. I believe that now. I didn't for many, many years, and because my dad likes to lie. It's like it's about, but that's like it's like finding your roots or finding other people's roots and realizing you have some commonality, like common things in common. Sorry, that's a better way to say it. Things in common, and you can appreciate. Like I said, I don't have any Chinese in me, but I have had a Chinese girlfriend before, and I do love the culture. I love the Japanese culture. I
Uh,
like the Asian culture in
again,
general.
please. I'm not the first Chinese girlfriend, right?
But you're the last one. That's right. Yes.
Wow.
Wow. You're the last one. Yeah. Well, looks like I'll be spending my evening on the couch tonight, but that's that. Uh, Lynn was my friend, I swear. That's what I told everyone. But I was close to her, but like at the same time, it's like even so, like I knew more about here's some. I knew more about the Japanese
Mm.
culture than ever did about the Canadian cultures. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not that there are many, but there are some. But
Yeah.
like that's something I knew more about, right?
Yeah.
And then learning through history and stuff of that, I found a lot of those things very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also loved Egypt and I love this and that, and they all have their own traditions. But I can still learn to appreciate
Yeah.
the fact that I live here, and then there's these cool things we get to celebrate, right? Like Chinese New Year, even though it's
Mm.
not our New Year, but it is kind of, like
Yeah.
because we're so close to it. And as we can see, there were lots of bananas for sale at the macro, but like at the same time, it's just like it's something they do, So
Mm-hmm.
it makes it interesting. It makes it more of a way to think about the future and have some traditions. Like
Yeah.
I had like what well did you celebrate anything when you were a kid, like, or did you have traditions that you did, whether it be Songkran or anything
Like
like that?
Chinese New Year
Okay.
and Cheng Meng Day, which is the day that we will go to the graveyard.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, to pay the respect to our ancestor. It will be like in the late March, beginning of April.
Okay.
Yeah, and near to Songkran.
Okay.
And Songkran we do the merit, like give the food for the monk,
Right.
and we will go to the graveyard
But those are
as
things you
well
did though, right?
and pay the respect to the ancestor. And for me, the the experience when I was young is too chaotic, too many people, and too much to focus.
Yes, it's like celebrating Christmas in Canada with
Same
Cherry.
thing.
Yeah.
I think I can feel you that it's
Yeah.
too much to
Yeah.
focus because a lot of family member will come to reunion again,
Yeah.
but people more than two gather around together will cause a lot of thing, right?
Yeah, it'll cause a lot of headache, and you know, we have kids, we get divorced, and those kids got to go to separate places, and then you got separate grandparents and separate this and that, and da da da,
Yeah,
or vice versa. In your place, whatever, it's the same thing, and that's why I
yeah,
never like. That's personally one of the things I never liked about Christmas is kind of all the travel.
yeah.
But I did end up learning to love it, so to speak. I liked it for a while, but I learned to love it for just for the kids. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
realized I appreciate that. I tried different things over the years, but then I had traditions myself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I never even hear something we're all hearing for the first time because you've never heard this. So like I used to like to watch certain things at Christmas time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had two traditional shows I'd watch,
Yeah.
which was the CNN heroes thing where they did like the heroes for the country, this or for the world. And then the other thing I liked to watch was wrestling, right?
Mm.
And every year they had a Christmas show.
Mm.
So they go to like Iraq or Iran or wherever there was war, and they put on a great wrestling show, and it was all Santa was there and everything like that. And I really enjoyed that growing up. Now they don't do that as much, but like having some form of tradition that you
And
appreciate.
yourself alone, right?
Yeah, by myself is one thing I like to do because it made me feel closer. It's just like me getting into podcasts, and you sort of follow people, and you start to feel like you're a part of them. You know what I mean? Like hopefully this is what we get out of this is we just talk and we have random conversations. Maybe we bring people on in the future. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But you have those conversations, you feel closer to it, and it brings the tradition, makes the tradition more valuable. Like even though I'm not much of a religious person and I don't believe in all this stuff, but it brings me closer to culture, and it brings me closer to religion in some form or fashion, whatever that
Mhm.
may be. And it was a lot of fun. You know, it was short. It was more there was more work involved setting it up than doing it, but this is only our first year, and
Yeah.
it'll be better in the future, I'm sure.
And for this year that we did a small version because you can see from the media
Yeah.
how like big version is
Yes.
is like full of food, fruit and snack, everything on the table. But
Right.
for us, we just choose the number that uh, good enough for us
Right.
and a little bit for sharing to our friend,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
right? And we choose the version that uh, it's like new way of thinking, modern way of thinking, not use a lot, uh, not use the whole chicken, the whole pork, the whole whole
Yeah.
fish, but we just like select the small piece to be fitted
Right.
to fit to us,
And
right?
like yeah, and figuring out like you know like different things to give and so forth. It's like I didn't. Here's something I didn't know. You ready for this, Cherry? I thought the food got thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought all that food was wasted. That's what I actually thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or given to monks or homeless, this and that. And I was like, oh, but we're gonna eat it. I'm like, this is even better. I'm like, what does Sharon like? Well, she likes chicken wings because I like chicken wings, but she actually does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, in that regard, I found that kind of not amusing. Learn a bit more, you know what I mean? Like, I
Mm.
didn't. That's something I legit didn't know. Now I assumed they ate it, but I honestly thought maybe they throw it out. You know, like
Mm.
maybe that's what they do. And for heating it up and keeping the cold beer and everything, things I didn't know.
Mm-hmm. So the food on the table that we the pay the respect for the ancestor actually is our food to have the meal with the family member.
Yeah,
So you can choose the food that they like, but also the being the food that you like as well.
yeah, exactly. You know, like
Because at the end of the day, you have to eat it, or you keep it and eat it in the next day.
what I think you could do though is like now that I said it out loud, like you could do a big feast and stuff of that, and then feed people. You know, like that's
Yeah, and
another way to
share with
not
neighbors.
share with your neighbors or share with like the homeless
Mm-hmm.
community or whatever. Like I
Yeah.
think if like let's say we have a small neighborhood, maybe there's about 100 different people. There's probably about 50 different houses on our soil and everything like that. But like, what
Mm-hmm.
if we all got together and we all decided we're going to make this food and then we're going to give it to a homeless shelter or something like
Yeah,
that? That's something you could
can
do too,
be,
right?
yeah,
To help, you know, to help
yeah.
alleviate problems and that, and it's a good thing and you feel good about it, but at
Mm-hmm.
the same time you respect your ancestors and your gods and
Mm-hmm.
so forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to think about it too, right?
Yeah. And for what we did, we just cut just only the piece of ritual that we focusing on paying the respect to the ancestor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But actually, the general Chinese family, they just gather round together like a big number of members because it's another way to reunion
Yeah, you like
the
yeah you
family
yeah
member.
you bring your family back together. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like where I come from, I don't know about you, but like they say like once you know you move away when you turn a certain age, it's not
Mm-hmm.
your family separates within a few hundred kilometers, whatever,
Yeah.
but it's travel, right? And it said the only way after that to
Mm-hmm.
see each other is like at holidays
Mm-hmm.
or weddings or funerals, right? Which is
Yeah.
pretty sad in
Yeah.
essence, right?
Yeah.
But this is another good way to
Yeah.
add another way to
Yeah.
stick with your family, right? Like I wish Gick was here, I wish your mom was here, and you know, like that would have been nice, and that's okay. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, like you don't want it to be just about that, but
Yeah.
bringing people
And
together.
in my experience, when having two things in the same time, reminding the past and be present with the family member,
Right.
two things happen. It might be too much for the brain
Mm-hmm.
to cope with it,
Right.
right? But for us this year, we're just focusing on reminding the past, and it's something more intimate.
Yeah, it was very intimate.
Yeah, and it's reflect more, right?
Yeah, and it's
And
yeah.
I saw you crying a bit.
Yes, I cry. I am human. I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
I like apples. I like oranges and bananas.
Okay, what's going on? Why you cry?
Well, I cried while I was thinking of my stepmother who just passed away recently, right? And it was just like I thought of like are you gonna make me cry? Are you gonna do the Oprah Winfrey? No, I just thought about it, it's like
Yeah.
and it's not like I don't think about her every day. I see her every time I wake up because she's on my phone. However, it was just a different level, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's what this represents, right?
Yeah.
It's like um going to a funeral is one thing, but going back to visit the place where they died or where they're buried or whatever, where they're buried or whatever, it's more intimate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like intimacy in regards to like things, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like I have this really weird thing where I like to go to the movies alone
Mm-hmm.
because for me it's more intimate. It's more I see it for what it is. But that's the same thing with everything
Yeah.
else, right? Sometimes I love being around a lot of people, and sometimes I just want it to be one on one or one on two or three,
Mm-hmm.
not too big, or just one on none. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
So that's something I like to do,
Yeah.
So
And for the audience, if they see that the scene that having the picture of Sharon
mhm.
among all Chinese stuff,
You would think she was Asian.
it's new perspective.
Yeah. But that just shows you your progress your perspective, which is you're more open to it, right?
Yeah.
It didn't
And
have to be about me,
some friend comments to my Facebook
right?
about what we did that wow, this is the
New.
innovation.
Yeah.
It's new.
But then maybe it shouldn't be just about maybe we shouldn't just get out like of the culture and the
Yeah.
tradition. Maybe it should be about just respecting your elders and your ancestors
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
whether they're Chinese or Thai or not. Maybe
Because
you had a dog that you really really loved, and it's just another way to pay respects to that dog or whatever it may be, right?
it's something in common because we are the human being,
Right.
right? And it's life.
Right. Maybe next year, some of my geckos and some of the dogs you had or whatever.
That's next level. Because the first purpose is just like to remind of your ancestor.
but should but maybe it should be more about
That's next level.
maybe I'll put on my favorite laptop or whatever. It's like this is my favorite laptop growing up, and I will remember you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just bought the new t-shirt, which
Yes.
is like put on the family name in Chinese. Yesterday I wore it.
Yeah.
Sa Lao, Lao or Liu
Yep.
is my grandpa family name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I put it on because in one moment in Thailand, during the time that my grandpa moved here,
Right.
he used his own family name in Chinese, right? So it
Mm-hmm.
separate him from the general local Thai people,
Okay.
and it's feel awkward.
Of
Like
course.
I think you feel it
Yeah.
too as a foreigner who live in Thailand,
Right.
and it's something separate you from the community,
Right. Right.
right? And I think it's the same feeling for my grandpa.
That's just another way for you to pay respect.
So
to your history.
they changed the family name to be Thai name.
Right.
That's why I use Lau Viriyarat, which is very long. What a
And
long family name.
And for quite a long time, very hard for me to spell.
And to show the people around them that, hey, I'm Thai too.
Right.
I live here.
But
Like my dad, he was born here
right.
and he's Thai, but he still look Chinese, right? And he want to blend in. He want to be the part of Thai society.
Mm-hmm.
So we just keep telling ourselves that we are Thai, we are Thai, we are Thai. And my grandpa, he feel bad for his own country back in that time because it was the war, the difficulty to
Difficult time to
live.
live. Yeah.
It's difficult for him,
Right.
and he want to leave it behind. So he stopped speaking his own language, and he tried to speak Thai
Right. Which
with
must
his
be difficult.
children, with me, but with Chinese accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our family, no one can speak Teochew at all. No one can speak my
So you've
grandpa
lost that
language at all.
tradition.
I lost it. So I just want to feel it a little bit that,
Right. Yeah.
oh, I have it in me.
Right.
Mhm.
Gung hoi
Just one
fa chua.
day, go back to use Xe Lao. And now I am Mrs. Laughin.
Yeah. Now my Chinese last name, I don't have one.
No. Yeah, and I think the Chinese New Year this year, I go back,
You felt it, yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's just cool.
to my root.
Yeah, yeah. Up here we go.
Oh, and we give ang pao, the money in the red envelope,
Yeah.
to the younger member in our family, which
Yeah.
is one person, my sister. And she feels so glad. She said, wow, I'm so happy because even I turned 34, but I still can get the ang pao. She's so happy for it. Get the money.
Yeah. I didn't get any money.
Yeah, you owe.
I gave money. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I give. And
Yeah.
every once in a while I take.
Yeah.
Not often, but that's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's about that. It's about giving back to your family, right? And keeping
Yeah.
it in the family, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And seem like my mom and my dad, they feel happy.
Yeah.
And my dad, he said, like, good job. Finally, you can realize it by yourself.
About what? The Chinese culture?
Yeah. That's what he said.
That's kind of mean, but you know.
Yeah. I just think to myself, is he appreciate or is he like yelling at me in his
It
head?
sounds like he's yelling to me.
Finally, you can realize it by yourself.
Well,
That's what he said.
well, that's like you know, like my mom with religion, this and that. Like, unfortunately, I'm not very religious at all, but like,
Mm.
it's like you find your own pathway, right? And
Yeah.
whatever that pathway may be is your pathway, right? And now, did he need to go that route and say, "Finally, you figure it out"? No, he didn't need to do that. It's kind of jerky where I come from, but it is his truth. It is
the way of Chinese family they
Yeah.
express.
They're very expressive. Where I come from, we just hide in a corner.
So mean.
Yeah,
Their expression. But they love.
right.
They love their children.
And they love their culture. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like, all right,
and this tape quite on and off.
that's okay. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And hopefully you watch it until
And
the end.
it's like individual reflection
Yes.
of Chinese New Year celebration this year.
That is. And we'll see what happens.
And enjoy your year of snake.
You're the
and
snake.
Hopefully you're gonna have the healthy life and wealthy life.
I'm hoping to become richer. That's all I care about.
Yeah. So we have to get up every day
And work.
to work and do it.
Yeah. And see
Make
what
it
happens.
happen.
All right.
Okay. See you guys
See
next
ya.
time.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.